Good afternoon, everybody. Maria and I are here again on a Friday afternoon to remind you that we continue to keep you in our hearts and minds and prayers as the weeks roll on. Sun is shining this afternoon. The air is warm. The breeze feels good. And yet, perhaps you too, along with both of us, are feeling a deep disquiet, a need to call out to God and to touch firmly into the faith community.
This has been a momentous week. We have marked the terrible toll of more than 100,000 Americans who have died of COVID-19. It's hard to take in, almost impossible to fully feel or truly recognize how immense this loss is. And while the death toll does continue to rise, we also have the word that the rate of infection is slowing in our area, enough that in another week, some of our businesses will begin to reopen and we will be a little freer to move around.
Though we are urged to continue conscientiously with the practices that have helped to bring us to this point. Our public health officials urge us to continue wearing masks in public, maintaining 6 feet distances from those not of our own households, and washing our hands scrupulously and often.
In these next few weeks, we will begin to hear of a few churches again holding services in their buildings, though many, many more congregations will do as Salford intends to do for the weeks ahead, continuing to hold services online only throughout the period that is becoming called the yellow phase.
Grief at the magnitude of loss we've already seen from this disease, an uneasy anticipation of this next phase of pandemic life with its whole new set of uncertainties and questions that we'll need to answer. These would be more than enough for 1 week, but they are nearly overshadowed by the horror of the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis on Monday, and our heart-sick understanding that his death exposes again the evil brutality of racism in our country, and the weight of fear that Black and brown people in America must carry with them every day, fear that it could happen to them or to someone they love.
Our hearts cry out. Our minds both want to go numb and race with questions about what we can do, how we can speak up and live out our Jesus commitment to stand against the evil of racism and to stand with those who are so unfairly and viciously held down by centuries of bigotry and unequal treatment.
Our hearts cry out to God and to each other. This Sunday, we will come to the day of Pentecost, the day in the church when we mark the outpouring of God's Spirit upon the early Christians and upon all of us. As this week draws to an aching, pain-filled close, we are desperate for the advocate Jesus promised, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of healing and justice and love to be poured out among us and through us.
And even as our tears may flow and our minds whirl and our hearts veer toward despair, we claim our faith that the Spirit has come and is here and will come to us again and again. We kneel We stand, we bow, we race toward God with outstretched arms and open hearts, desiring to be filled and shaped and remade into the image of the Jesus that we follow.
Today we'll close with a portion of a prayer for George Floyd, written by Archbishop William Lori of Baltimore. Please pray with us. Be near to his family and friends, God, and to all who have been touched by violence. Those who have been hurt, have lost loved ones, and have lost their sense of security. Be for them a steady comfort and a safe resting place.
Change the hearts and steady the minds of those who would do violence to others.
Change the hearts of us all, Lord. Heal our nation of prejudice and bigotry, and help us build communities where all people walk together freely, in safety and without fear.
May your love triumph over hate, Lord, your peace over violence, and your truth be our light in the darkness.
Amen. Friends, may our hearts break. May our hearts break open for a fresh outpouring of God's Spirit. And let us hold fast to each other as together we seek the way of Jesus in the midst of this great sorrow.
May the Spirit be with you this weekend, friends.